Good morning. This is Chair French, and I'm convening the business meeting of the Kansas Corporation Commission for this Thursday, November 9th, 2023, joined by my colleagues, Commissioner Keene and Commissioner Keither. On today's agenda, we have 34 consent agenda items and 2 noticed items. We will begin with our consent agenda. Commissioners, you've had the opportunity to review all of the proposed items on the consent agenda. Let me ask at this time whether you have any questions about those items, and I will begin with Commissioner Keither.
Can you hear me?
We can.
Okay, I'm at home. This is a different VC to me today. No, I don't have any questions. Thank you.
Very good. Commissioner Keene?
No questions. I would move approval of the consent agenda.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda. Is there any further discussion on that motion? Hearing none, those in favor, please vote aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed, say no. The consent agenda is approved. We now move to our 2 noticed items. Our first noticed item is in docket number 24, GIMX 238 MIS, and this is a proposed order on petition for reconsideration, and our presenter for this item is Mr. David Cohen. Good morning, David.
Good morning, Commissioners. Before you is an order on petition for reconsideration. On August 23rd, 2023, Mr. Zakura filed a CORA request for unredacted copies of invoices related to Black Hills costs incurred during Winter Storm Uri. On October 12th, 2023, the Commission denied Mr. Zakura's request pursuant to KSA 45221A1 and KSA 6612220A. On October 16th, Zakura filed a petition for reconsideration of the Commission's order. The Commission has recently received several CORA requests related to gas costs during Winter Storm Uri incurred by other jurisdictional utilities. Given the unique nature of the events of Winter Storm Uri and the amount of time that has passed, the Commission finds a more robust investigation is warranted in this matter. Because multiple utilities designated Winter Storm Uri gas invoices as confidential, the Commission finds a general investigation should be open to holistically consider the confidential status of these dockets or documents related to costs during Winter Storm Uri. The Commission expects a general investigation will resolve confidentiality issues for multiple documents, including those requested in the instant docket. However, those documents are to be remained under seal until such issues are resolved. The order grants petition for reconsideration subject to the terms I've just outlined and opens a general investigation. And I'm available for questions.
All right, thank you for that description, Mr. Cohen. Are there any questions on this item? I will begin with Commissioner Keither.
No.
And Commissioner Keene.
No questions. David, that was an excellent overview of the direction that this order heads, as well as kind of a preview of the order immediately following this. I thank you for that overview. It was very helpful. Having said that, I would move approval of the order.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the proposed order in this docket as described. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, those in favor, please vote aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed, say no. The order is approved. Thank you, Mr. Cohen.
Thank you.
Now move to our second and final noticed item. This is in docket number 24, GIMX 376 GIB. And this is a proposed order opening general investigation. Our presenter for this item is Mr. Brian Fedotey. Good morning, Brian.
Good morning, Commissioners. As you just heard, recently the Commission has received several CORA requests for documents concerning gas costs incurred by Kansas jurisdictional utilities during Winter Storm Uri. While the documents were designated as confidential, the participants in the Uri dockets, which include the Kansas Attorney General's Office, Commission staff, and CURB, had full access to the confidential documents subject to non-disclosure agreements. And redacted non-confidential versions of the same documents are available to the public on the commission's website. Since the commission issued its final orders in the URI dockets in March 2022, June 2022, and January of this year, time has elapsed, and due to passage of time, this order finds it would be appropriate to reevaluate whether the confidential designations and related protections against disclosure should remain in place, modified, or lifted entirely. In the prior order that Mr. Cohn presented, you directed the opening of a general investigation. Accordingly, we're doing so in this order. Any affected Kansas jurisdictional utility which designated documents as confidential in the URI dockets is encouraged to participate in the general investigation and will automatically be granted formal intervention status upon filing an entry of appearance. And in subsequent orders, we will provide more guidance on a schedule and the scope of this investigation. With that, I'm available for questions.
Thank you, Mr. Pedotin, for that description. Are there any questions on this item? And I will begin again with Commissioner Keither
No, thank you.
and Commissioner Keen.
No questions, just a brief comment. Obviously, this is a companion order to the one that we just considered that David Cohen reviewed. I would commend you as well, Brian, for your overview here with respect to this particular order before us. The thing I think that's really consequential here, I'm speaking for myself. My guess is I probably speak for my colleagues as well. It's the holistic approach that we're taking to this subject of disclosure, given the unusual circumstances, as you noted, and the gravity of the impact that these Winter Storm Uri costs have imposed upon ratepayers. And so that we can basically balance the competing interests of having the disclosures provided to the extent that they can aid even in litigation against the concerns that about confidentiality that some of the utilities may have. This gives us a really holistic approach, a really general way to consider all of those issues and try to perform that balancing act. Excusing my verbose description right that. Having said that, I would move approval of the order.
Well, and again, it's just to follow on with that, I think the commission realizes the importance of these documents, and that's why I think it's important to note that the Kansas Attorney General's office has full access to unredacted copies of these and has this information. So the idea that the public is unprotected and hasn't had the advantage of interests that look out for the public to have these documents. I want to be sure that that's clear. So, although I don't think I made it very clear in what I just said. So, maybe,
I believe Commissioner Keen, did you make a motion to approve the order?
I did, yeah.
Yeah, and I'll second.
All right, we have a motion and a second to approve the order in this docket. Is there any further discussion? I will just take the opportunity to endorse everything Commissioner Keen just said. Maybe I'll start out with a general statement that the lifting of confidential designations is a very serious question to me. One of the ways that the commission is able to do its job and to audit entities under our control is by requesting and protecting certain confidential information. And so I certainly have a concern, and I would understand a concern that if we somehow could not protect information, that it would become quite difficult for the commission to do its job. And so I think that point should definitely remain under consideration. But I also think it's important to remember that Winter Storm Uri and the magnitude of these costs make this a very unique situation. This is not there's no idea that somehow Cora is just an exception to maintaining the confidentiality of records. This is a unique situation, and that's why I endorse opening a holistic investigation. You've got multiple utilities involved. The commission needs much more granularity as to why the information either should remain confidential or still applies for confidential designation, or in the absence, even if it is confidential, why it may still be in the public interest to remove it in this very unique and specific case. And I think opening a holistic general investigation is really the best vehicle to take that out of the realm of an open records request, which is not really the proper vehicle for us to decide that type of issue. And really for the commission to take ownership of that decision, which is a pretty grave decision. And so I think that's very appropriate. And I would further emphasize, no matter what the commission decides in this proceeding, the Attorney General's office has been provided all of this information completely unredacted. And so the public does have a representative able to view this information, but I also believe it's appropriate for us to take a deep look at this, get much more detailed answers from those requesting confidentiality about why the information either should or should not remain confidential, and what the public interest implications might be if we decide under Kansas law that those protections should be lifted. So I say all of that to say, I think this is the right course of action to take. With that, is there any further discussion of the order under the motion under consideration? Hearing none, those in favor, please vote aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed, say no. The order is approved. Thank you, Mr. Fedotin. If there is no further business to come before us this morning, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
I make the motion that we adjourn.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to adjourn. Those in favor, please vote aye.
Aye.
Aye. We're adjourned. Thank you all. Take care.
Thank you.